Hello everyone, my name is Rich Keener. I'm the Village Manager for the Village of Villa Park. Today's one of my segments where I'll be talking about an upcoming board meeting's formal agenda. So folks, today I'll be talking about Monday, December 13th's formal board meeting's agenda. So let's start. So number 1 on the agenda is the call to order, the roll call. Number 2 is the Pledge of Allegiance. Number 3 is public comments on agenda items. Folks, that's the appropriate time to come to the podium and comment on items that are on the formal agenda that evening. So moving on, we have number 4, which is amendments to the agenda. Folks, that's the appropriate time for the village president or board of trustees to revise the formal agenda for that evening. So moving on, we have number 5, which is our consent agenda area. We have 5A, which is minutes from the public meeting and board meeting held on December 6th, 2021. Then we have 5B, which is bill listings for the week of December 6th, 2021, in the total amount of $284,522.99. So moving on, we have number 6 on our agenda, which is second reading on ordinances to be codified. We have 6A, which is the second and final reading of an ordinance levying taxes for the fiscal year of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, commencing on the first day of January 2021 and ending on the 31st day of December 2021. So folks, the background on this particular item is that the 2021 tax levy is underway. The library board approved their levy on September 22nd. The village board approved a resolution estimating the tax levy on November 8th, and several abatement ordinances will be approved on December 6th, which they were. The total levy for the village and library is $12,632,074 and has been abated to $11,640,924, which is an increase of 5% over last year, LY. The final amount will likely be reduced by DuPage County due to property tax caps. A majority of the levy is subject to a 1.4% tax cap plus new growth. So folks, we do this on an annual basis. We approve the levy, and in Illinois we pay property tax in arrears, so that's why it says 2021, and we believe it'll be abated to $11,640,924. But here in DuPage County, here in Villa Park, we're property tax capped, and so we may receive some new growth, some valuation from some new growth, etc. And hopefully we do. But right now we're expected for it to be abated to $11,640,924. So moving on, for 6B for Monday night, December 13th, we had the second and final reading of an ordinance adopting a budget for the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, for all corporate purposes, in lieu of an annual appropriations ordinance for the fiscal year commencing on January 1st, 2022 and ending on December 31st, 2022. The village's fiscal year 2022 budget ordinance allocates funds for the continued provision of village services as well as significant capital investment as discussed during the village's budget presentation held at the November 22nd Village Board meeting and the public hearing held on December 6th. The budget draft has been available for public inspection at Village Hall and on the village's website. The budget covers the 12-month period from January 1 through December 31st, 2022. So folks, again, this item, we do this on an annual basis. We have 2 readings for our budget. We have a budget workshop, and then the budget is placed online for everyone to take a look at on the village's website. Then we also have a draft budget here inside Village Hall that you can come in and look at too if you like to look at the hard copy. And so Monday night, this is the final reading of the budget. Once it's approved, then we'll go through the necessary steps of filing it with DuPage County, and then on January 1, we'll implement this budget. So moving on to 6C for Monday night, December 13th, we have a second and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending certain provisions of Appendix C, Article 2, Sections 2.3 and 2.6, including new 2.6.5 Basic Zoning Ordinance of the Villa Park Municipal Code. So folks, the background of this particular item includes the proposed text amendments to Article 2, Sections 2.3 and 2.6, including new item as 2.6.5 of Appendix C of the Village Code. These proposed revisions represent amendments to an article versus the entire zoning code and are proposed to better clarify code requirements and to address best practices and or current development trends. The Community Development Department and village staff performed a review of these codes and researched best practices and are recommending the modifications proposed herein. At the November 11, 2021 public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the proposed text amendments. So folks, as I just read, this particular item has to do with proposed text amendments to Appendix C of the Village of Villa Park's Municipal Code. And these amendments have to do with property coverage, impervious surface, if you will. So larger lots will be allowed a different percentage of impervious surface, and smaller lots will be allowed a different percentage of impervious surface. So moving on to number 7 on our formal agenda for Monday night, December 13th, we have 7A, and this is our ordinance sections. We have 7A. It's an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the rezoning to the M1 Light Industrial District of the property located at 1033 North Villa Avenue. So folks, the background on this particular item is that the applicant is currently under contract to purchase the subject property and is requesting rezoning of the subject property from PUDC, which is the Planned Unit Development Commercial, to M1 Light Industrial District. The applicant intends to lease the subject property to Aero Trans Corp, or otherwise just Aero, which is a related entity who intends to use the property for trucking, warehousing, and distribution. Aero is currently located in Elk Grove Village, Illinois, and anticipates the hours of operation to be from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Should the rezoning be approved, Aero will relocate its current facility to the subject property, which expects to create 30 full-time jobs. The applicant intends to improve the parking lot to accommodate truck parking and reconfigure the building to meet Aero's operations. It is expected that approximately 10% of the current facility will be utilized as office space, and the remainder will be utilized as for warehousing and distribution. The petitioner submitted the attached traffic study, including exhibits of potential future improvements. Staff recommends approval of the map amendment. So folks, just as I mentioned, the property located at 1033 North Villa intends to be sold, and Aero Trans Corporation, which is a related entity, is going to be leasing that, and this is the Odium site. And so the measure before the board Monday evening is a rezoning from a PUDC to the M1 Industrial District. So moving on from Monday night, our formal agenda, we have number 8, which is our resolution section. We have 8A, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving an engineering services agreement with V3 Companies Ltd. of Woodridge, Illinois for Phase 2 design engineering of the Jackson Pond Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $353,200. So folks, the background on this particular item is that the Jackson Pond Improvement Project is proposed in the Village of Villa Park's Capital Improvement Plan. The project's objective is to expand the Jackson Pond Stormwater Detention Basin to lessen the frequency and severity of area flooding. These improvements are a portion of a larger project identified in the V3 Sugar Creek Basin Flood Control Study. The project's engineering design is budgeted for our fiscal year 2022, and staff would like to proceed with the design efforts. Staff recommends approval of an engineering services agreement with V3 Companies Ltd. of Woodridge, Illinois for Phase 2 design engineering of the Jackson Pond Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $353,200. Funding for this agreement will be from the Stormwater Fund 68-502-10-292. So folks, this particular item has been planned for several years now, and if you remember, we recently received a $4 million grant to assist with the construction of this improvement project. And so this engineering design is a part of that, and hopefully in the spring or early summer of 22 we'll be under construction for this. So moving on to 8B for Monday night, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a lease between the Village of Villa Park and DuPage High School District 88 for tennis court usage. So folks, the background of this particular item is that the tennis courts adjacent to High Ridge Road were closed for a number of years, and the lease agreement for tennis courts usage between the village and School District 88 expired in August 2015. Representatives from District 88 contacted village staff about proposed improvements to the tennis facilities and entering into a new lease agreement similar to the previous lease agreement. The new lease agreement provides that the village and District 88 equally share in the cost of the refurbishment of all existing outdoor lighting. The total cost is $110,521. After refurbishment, the maintenance of the outdoor lighting and the auxiliary building shall be the sole responsibility of the village, which is similar to the previous agreements as well. The new agreement will give the village exclusive use and control of the tennis facilities between the hours of 6:30 p.m. and 11 p.m. weekdays and 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. In return, the village agrees to maintain the outdoor lighting and the auxiliary building. The lease shall go into effect May 1st, 2022 and terminate on April 30th, 2032. Staff recommends approval of this resolution. So folks, these tennis courts adjacent to High Ridge Road have been closed for several years, and during that time period, the lease agreement between the village and School District 88 expired for the use of those tennis courts. And now the school has reconstructed those tennis courts, and they're beautiful, and they have approached us to enter into a new lease for the use of those tennis courts, and we're happy to do that. I think that's a great asset for our village citizens to use on the weekdays and weekends if they like. So folks, I hope that that's approved, and we'll execute that agreement, and in the spring we'll start using the tennis courts. So moving on for Monday night, December 13th, we have number 9. That's our public comments on non-agenda items. Folks, that's the appropriate time to come to the podium and comment on items that are not on the formal agenda that evening. And this is followed by 10, our village clerk's report, followed by number 11, which is our village trustees report, followed by 12, our village president's report, followed by 13, my report, the village manager's report, followed by 14, our executive closed session. So we have 14A, which is pursuant to the general provisions of the Open Meetings Act. We have 1, 5 ILCS 120-C1, personnel matters. We have C2, collective bargaining matters. We have C5, purchase or lease of property. We have C6, sale or lease of property. We have C11, pending litigation. And then we have C21, which is discussion of closed session minutes. And then, folks, coming out of executive session, we will not have an action item. We'll have 15, which is our adjournment. And then our next meeting is scheduled for January 10th, 2022. So, folks, if you have some time, you can tune in on our cable TV channels or our YouTube platform and watch it live, or you can come in person. We will be following the CDC guidelines of social distancing and masks if we can. And it would be good to see you in person, or please take some time to tune in. Again, my name is Rich Keener. I'm the village manager for the Village of Villa Park. Please have a great holiday time and be safe, and we'll see you in the new year.